What's up, Vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Hextron. So this one comes to us from our friends over at Limitless-Mod Company and Plyrock, the people that made the Limitless Pulse Pod system. Well, this time they tried their hand at making a sub-ohm tank, and let me just start off by saying that the flavor and vapor production are on point with this one here. However, it leaves a little bit to be desired when it comes to functionality and style. So before I get started with this video, I do have to state my intent by saying that I did receive this product for free from the manufacturer for the purpose of doing this video. However, it has no monetary value to me, which means my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased, of course, as always. With that being said, I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the people over at Limitless Mod Company for sending this one my way. Really love taking a look at Limitless's products, especially this little guy right here. So curiously enough, I was looking up this product online and it actually came up under two different names. Now, all the packaging and information that I've seen about this device comes up under the name Hextron. However, I'm looking at a website right now that's calling it the Reactor Sub-Ohm Tank. Now, I'm not sure if there's a different version or what's going on here. However, it appears to be the exact same product. So with that in mind, it comes in three different colors: black, stainless steel, and gold, and it's going to cost you around $35 online, which is pretty darn good for any sub-ohm tank nowadays. I think that's about the average price. Now, when it comes to the replacement coils, you're going to get a 3-pack of coil heads for around $12 online. Of course, there's going to be a few outliers here and there with a cheaper price, but I would just always recommend making sure you check up on the reputation of a certain vendor before buying online, just to make sure you're not going to get ripped off. But in any case, I will provide you guys with a good link right down there in the description below if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself. But without further ado, let's go down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, as you can see here, I've got all three colors of the Hextron tank in their original boxes, so let's just quickly take a look around the packaging and then we'll talk about what's inside. So this one right here is mine, the black one, so it already has juice in it, so we're just going to put that one off to the side. And you know what? Hey, let's just take a look at the gold because I think it looks the coolest. So the first thing you'll notice is this nice big plastic window here at the front, so it showcases the product right from the outside of the box, which is a nice touch. All sorts of Limitless Mod Company branding all over this box, everywhere you look. Hextron Sub-Ohm Tank on that side. This side here we have the Limitless logo, Hextron Sub-Ohm Tank, and it's matched as well on this side here. The top we have the Limitless logo again, and the bottom as well. So there you go. And on the back we have some really tiny printing. I'm not even sure it's going to come out on camera here, but some basic stuff here, you know, legal jargon and that sort of thing. We have the QR code, which is for the product instructions. Again, they went with the QR code instead of just putting a little leaflet right inside the box. Why didn't they just save them the trouble of creating a whole website just for this thing and just put a little tiny leaflet in there? I feel like it would be worth their while. But anyways, let's just go ahead and take a look at what's inside here. Take the device out itself. Oh, look, see, they put this thing in there. Before firing your device, blah, 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 clean it and make sure you prime the coil. Basically, that's what that says. And taking out the device itself can be a bit difficult. So here we go. Oh, that's kind of neat. The gold version actually comes with a gold spare coil as well. So this is nice and gold. So for all of you gold lovers out there, there you go. Nice and matchy-matchy. And here we go. Here's the tank itself. All right, guys, so let's go over the specs. It's 24 millimeters in diameter. It has a threaded top fill system, proprietary drip tip with a 10 millimeter bore, dual fill ports, 3 mil juice capacity, cage tank section for added protection. It uses the reactor coil family, 0.5 ohm coil heads, vertical parallel coils, rated 40 to 80 watts using organic cotton. It has 6 adjustable 4 millimeter by 1 millimeter air slots, and it's made out of stainless steel and glass. All right, guys, so let's go top to bottom with this thing and I'll show you all the parts. So first of all, it has this big chunk of Delrin right up top here, which is the mouthpiece. It is a proprietary mouthpiece, so you're not just going to find any old drip tip to fit it, but it is very comfortable to vape on. I've never had any issues with it heating up whatsoever, and it is nice that it's a sort of full top cap kind of thing, so it has this little shield around the bottom edge, so no matter what, even if the tank heats up, you're not going to burn your lips. As you can see on the inside here, it has a O-ring for any leak protection, and it is metal threaded, which is a nice touch there, so you're never going to accidentally strip out your mouthpiece, so you shouldn't have to ever replace it. Moving on, we have the top part section here. It has a little tiny O-ring for added gasket protection up top. It has 2 big fill holes on the sides, which make for very easy filling. Never had an issue with filling this thing whatsoever, and never really even had a lot of excess juice coming up and out the sides there, which is great. And then we'll just take off this cage here real quick. So this is the cage piece that they were talking about in the specs. As you can see, it's got these kind of like little angled things on the side here, which, I don't know, it kind of offers a little bit of protection, I suppose, but really doesn't do much of anything in my opinion. But it's got the Limitless logo right down there at the bottom. Hopefully you guys can see that as well. And you can see the little inner chimney section right there, which I don't believe is removable. So you're kind of stuck just having that stuck in there like that. Here is the coil section. And when my camera focuses, there we go. You can see the the actual parallel coil on the inside there, which gives it the higher wattage rating, which is kind of cool. Lots and lots of cotton in these coils, so I've never had a too much of a wicking issue with this thing whatsoever. And there you go, another Limitless logo right there on the outside of the coil itself. Kind of has an interesting kind of wicking port situation here. You don't see the actual cotton from the outside. It has these little slots cut into the coils, which kind of the juice just slips through, which is, it's all right. It works. It works just fine for me personally. You can see the bottom insulator part of the coil there with a big old chunky threads. And let's just show you the bottom piece here real quick. You can see the O-ring right around the outside there. Never had any leaking with this one whatsoever, which is great. You can see a little Plyrock logo on the inside of the bottom. It's going to be pretty darn hard to see, but it's in there, I assure you. And I believe that's a serial number in there as well. Here you can see the 6 air slots. Count them, 6 air slots, yes. But they're all pretty small, they're 4 millimeters by 1 millimeter, so nothing too massive for airflow, but it gets the job done. More is always better, I guess, but there you go. And finally, we have the bottom section here. You can see another Limitless logo once again. They really love their own logo, and there you go. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, so let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of this video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off today with the pros, and my first pro is that it's easy to fill. Now, it may seem pretty trivial to you guys out there, but for a lot of device manufacturers nowadays, they forget that you need some place for the air to escape out of the tank as you're filling it. Now, that is the opposite with this tank here. You have 2 big holes at the top, which makes it super duper easy to fill. I just find that every time you have one of those tanks that only has one fill hole, it just burps a big bubble of juice out the top and creates a huge mess. But with this one here, it is incredibly easy to fill. You just stick your unicorn bottle down inside and give it a squeeze. Even if you have a normal glass dripper bottle, it is still pretty darn easy as well. And you can fill this thing up in a matter of seconds. And my second pro is it wicks really well. Now, I could chain vape this thing at around 50 watts, no problem, and not get a dry hit. And I was kind of half expecting to get a dry hit here or there, especially at the upper echelon of the recommended wattages, but no, I'm vaping it right now at 60 watts and I can just puff away on this thing no problem and it keeps up absolutely perfectly. For my third pro, this thing has decent flavor. Now, I'm not going to go around touting that this thing has the greatest flavor I've ever tried in a sub-ohm tank or anything like that, but I would kind of put it in the average to slightly above average category, and that's not really saying much because I have pretty low standards when it comes to sub-ohm tanks nowadays. I really haven't been blown away in a good year to year and a half or so by the flavor on these sort of style devices here, but with that, this one is just slightly above par, and I guess that's a good thing. And for my fourth and final pro, this thing just looks cool in my opinion. I really like the aesthetics of it, and I really feel like it fits perfectly on any small form factor box mod. You do have to kind of be a little bit more choosy when it comes time to picking out a mod for this device because it is on the smaller side, and it can look a little bit goofy on the bigger boxes. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is that it has a very low juice capacity. Coming in at a mere 3 milliliters, it just doesn't pass the test in my book, and as far as I'm concerned, I feel like every single tank on the market nowadays should be no less than 5 mils, because otherwise you're just going to be filling up your tank all the damn time. So with that, as far as the long drive test goes, yeah, it would be alright if you're bombing around town doing errands or something. You might get about 45 minutes of chain vaping out of it before you got to refill, but I would definitely skip this one if you're planning a long road trip. My second con is the airflow adjustment ring at the bottom of the tank is a real pain in the ass to get to when it's sitting on a device. Now, when it's off a device, you can adjust that ring no problem, so it would be in your best interest to just set the airflow where you want it, put it on your device, and forget about it. Otherwise, you're going to be clawing at the bottom ring, and you're probably going to get a big cramp in your fingers from it because it just doesn't want to move, and it's a real pain in the ass. Moving on to my third con, this is a fairly low wattage tank. Now, I know it says on the website that the coils are rated between 40 to 80 watts. However, I really disagree with that. I would recommend no more than 60 watts on this device here. It's not a real major problem. I would just say that the ratings on the coils are a bit more inflated than what they should be. And for my fourth and final con, the disassembly and cleaning process can be a bit of a chore because the glass piece was not meant to come out of the metal cage and because the chimney doesn't come out of the top cap section. So put those two things together and you really have to reach to get some paper towels or Q-tips or whatever into the top section of the glass. So if for some reason you have some crud up there that you wanted to get out, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass and you're going to have a hard time doing it. So at the end of the day, is this thing worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one for review? And I'm going to have to say probably not to this one. It just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me feel like I have to jump out of my chair and run to the vape shop and pick one of these up just because it's just another sub-ohm tank. It's plain Jane, it's middle of the road, it's just kind of average. At the end of the day, it's just another coil that you would have to buy. So the one thing that kind of saves this is, I mean, the flavor and the vapor production are good. I'm not really complaining about that aspect of this tank whatsoever. And if you have a micro box mod, if you have one of those little tiny ones that goes up to 50, 60, 75 watts, then yeah, I would suggest trying this thing out. So if you want to try one of these for yourself, I'll leave links right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments about the Hextron/reactor tank, whatever you want to call it, right down there in the box below. I'd love to talk to you guys. And also check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the box below. You can also grab yourself a Daily Vape TV sweatshirt. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.